One of the perks of a company-sponsored retirement plan is the ability to allow all company employees to enjoy the benefits of investing. Even those who aren't particularly market savvy can still enjoy the freedom and peace of mind that come along with long-term financial security. Ultimately, however, participants do have some choices to make as far as which asset classes to invest in. This choice can feel incredibly intimidating, especially if they're new to the world of investing. A rising number of financial advisors and record keepers have begun cashing in on this fact by offering to provide such participants with individual advice or managed account services. These services are peddled as a way to ensure that their accounts enjoy professional management in exchange for an annual fee of less than 1% of the account's balance. While managed account services work in a way that's very similar to target date funds, they are often made out to sound far superior. Why? Because they take a few more factors into account than just the participant's target retirement date. Managed account services typically begin with a short interview, during which participants are asked about things like their financial circumstances, exterior assets, and risk tolerance. Their answers are then plugged into a robo-advisor style computer program to generate a portfolio best suited for each participant's needs. Due to the fact that this arrangement often sounds like a godsend to bewildered investors, it's becoming more common for employers to allow it to be included as an option. After all, what's the harm in tacking on a small additional expense? As with most things that sound too good to be true, there is a catch. And in this case, it's one worth thoroughly understanding. What may look like a small annual fee has the potential to snowball into a sizable expense over time. Few employees may realize that signing up for voluntary managed account fees may ultimately end up costing them hundreds or even thousands of dollars each year. Even fewer realize that they could pay a fraction of the cost to get the same advice from a flat fee-based financial advisor or simply using the target date funds in the plan. Additionally, many assume that utilizing such a service will result in significantly better returns. Unfortunately, this doesn't always turn out to be the case. In 2020, a participant in Nestle's 401k savings plan filed a class action lawsuit that zeroed in on the dark side of managed accounts. The plaintiff argued that the managed account service offered by the company's plan produced very similar results to those of the much cheaper target date funds. Additionally, the suit alleged that Nestle's plan committee failed to engage alternate providers who offered the same service at a much lower rate. It's also worth noting yet another common drawback which the case shined a light on. The annual managed account fees offered by Nestle service providers resulted in plan participants paying drastically different rates for the same service. A participant with a $10,000 account balance was charged an annual fee of $50, while a colleague with a $500,000 balance was shelling out $1,725 each year. The larger a participant's account grows over time, the more money they lose each year in managed account fees. Now, while such services have managed to fly under the radar for some time, employees are starting to catch on to their potentially detrimental consequences. Not only do participants suffer losses on the fees they agree to pay, but also on the gains that would have been resulted in allowing them to compound over time. Instead, these fees end up compounding on behalf of the advisors and record keepers who convince participants that such services are worth it. This in itself is beginning to draw more questions about whether allowing managed account fees to be offered is actually a conflict of interest. While such services may end up being beneficial to a handful of participants, this is no excuse for failing to weigh the necessity and implications of making them an option for everyone.